Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And today we are talking about who is potentially one of the most interesting men in the modern world. Or is he more of a phony? Well, we figured we'd talk about it because it relates to our world, where an explorer unearths and recreates ancient civilizations lost with new 3D technology. Such a great innovator, a technologist, an
Yes,
explorer.
yes, the sarcasm is rolling off this. This vitriol is largely directed at the sensationalization of the man and the work being done by National Geographic with this article. What has happened is National Geographic has launched a six-part documentary series, which uses LIDAR, an archaeological technology, to help reconstruct in the virtual world what has been since lost to time. What LIDAR does is it's a form of ground penetrating radar that scans for, I believe, changes in composition and material under the earth, which is often used to show the locations of various subterranean features, including things that have, cities and roads that have been buried.
And the explorer in question is a gentleman by the name of Albert Lynn, who likes to make himself akin to Nathan Drake or Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And he just, it's an over
It's
sensationalization of the work that is being done.
Yeah, and we love the public getting familiar with LiDAR. It is a cornerstone technology. It is incredibly useful. The ability to reconstruct things, to conduct basic archaeological survey without having to destroy the earth is a wonderful thing that we think people should be introduced to. Uh, that said, and that said, Mr. Excuse me here.
Lynn.
Sorry about Mr. Lin is not an archaeologist. He is a mechanical and aerospace engineer. And as much as we love collaboration with non-archaeologists on archaeological things, it's always important to note that distinction when people are using this technology for archaeological purposes, especially for television and sensationalization, when they are not archaeologists themselves, because that's where a lot of misinterpretations come in that ultimately end up being harmful. And we're certain that, Mr. Lin and Nat Geo are doing their best. Whether or not they are succeeding remains to be seen. It is a brand new series. Uh,
Well, in this
Hopefully, it's doing better than some of the others.
this is kind of akin, and maybe it's not as extreme as one of the first reacts that we did, the catalyst of this series, where we talked about a Graham Hancock series, uh, hit what the Unexplained, or no, that was William Shatner's
That was
Unexplained.
also
Uh,
something
but
weird.
we also criticized Graham Hancock series, Ancient. Oh God,
Ancient aliens.
no, he's not. He's not as ancient civilizations. But either way, a lot of these TV shows like to sensationalize the work that is being done. They like to sensationalize the stories behind everything. There has to be a story that sells and makes um, a compelling story, a compelling narrative when you're explaining it over TV. Otherwise, it's not going to grasp people in. So things like this over sensationalize. They add a lot of hype around the work that is being done. They add a lot of science to it, which Cullum and I know, feel very similar about this, where we feel conflicted because the knowledge and outpouring of public support is a valuable asset to our field, and having the public interested and vested will never harm you. It will never be a bad thing. However, when information is blatantly wrong or takes a completely different route, like the way in which they describe it and these action shots look, this isn't someone who's conducting scientific research. This is someone who's going on a an expedition, a
It's an adventure story, and while adventure stories are fun and they can bring attention to archaeology, they often do come with a lot of very much unintentional but still very harmful misconceptions and misinterpretations that have long lasting impacts both on the field of archaeology itself and on the cultures being depicted. In the article alone, we see references to Peru, Oman, uh, Jebel Barkal, and Scotland, among other things. These these places these places typically aren't on the forefront of controlling their own destiny in terms of the public eye.
I think you skip over a massive fact with it too. Of each one of those is a location of a mysterious group that claims to have that history doesn't know not much about and that have claims of disappearing. So there's a lot of other narratives and stories that go along with it. And one of the things we highlighted a lot in the unexplained is a lot of these narratives, while the alternate theories or alternate facts, as some people refer to them as, which is nonsense, tends to have a problematic and oftentimes racially motivated background, whether it's
And
admitted or not.
yeah, and I don't think I don't believe the show goes as far as to propose those alternative facts or theories, but it does go into the same sensationalization that often brings about their rise and allows them to
They're
flourish.
literally a half step away from discovering Atlantis, 3D mapping the lost city of Atlantis beneath the ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Well,
seriously, like,
yeah,
you really have to be cognizant to make sure it doesn't
yeah,
go that direction, because we
uh,
are the stewards of history. Quite frankly, like, history is a finite resource and we are the stewards of it. We have to
yeah,
do
and
our best to tell that story in an honest and genuine way that is true to nature and true to the facts. And a
yeah,
lot of
and
times that being true to the facts tends to just aggravate people and rub them the
yeah.
wrong way.
Yeah, it really does. And honestly, this show is straddling the line between between success or failure in that regards. Just with I'm just going to read off the captions for two of the images. One of them is shows a computer screen with lidar 3D rendition imagery. Very cleaned up lidar, I might add. This is very post GIS work. Um, it says a computer generated graphic on a monitor shows a LiDAR imagery of a Pictish town and ramparts layered over a modern town. That is that's fairly straightforward. That's, here's the old town, here's the modern town. That's about as good as you can expect to get.
The thing is, this
Then
is an artistic rendition of it that's computer
yeah,
generated. True LiDAR is black and white and
yeah.
it's granular as hell.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is very post GIS work. This is very post analysis, post cleanup, post mapping. This is not the straight lidar image. But for the purposes of helping the audience understand what we're getting at, that's about as good as you can expect to get on a TV show. Is that caption with that image right there? Then there is the, I think, first image on the article, uh, which is described as Lin is lowered into the seventh hole while leading an expedition deep into Oman to scan for clues and discover the true scale and sophistication of a lost desert society, which is pure
Sensationalization 101.
sensationalization. If he is doing archaeology, he is not going down there with the TV crew. Simply
Bingo.
because the TV crew would get in the way of the actual archaeology and have nothing to do for several days.
Months even. But I think we have expressed our opinions long enough. We're on a soapbox, but this
Yeah.
is an issue that we truly have to face in the field of trying
Mhm.
to accept public interest and public motivations with trying to maintain the true to nature and true to the narrative stories.
Yeah, and it's a very, and the subject of this debate we're having is not so much the show itself, but how do we as archaeologists handle and react to things like this? Because I don't think this is one with particular ill intents, but it could be one with major negative consequences, and that's how do you handle
How
that?
do we navigate the ramifications of shows like this and the interest
Yeah,
that it generates? and
Yeah.
and that's a debate that is going to be ongoing and continuing. But thank you guys for listening into two middling archaeologists ranting about it.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next one.